All right, looks like we're live. Yay! So welcome, Akasha here, Nan Akasha from nanakasha.com. And interestingly enough, we're having a call called Mercury Retrograde Emergency Help. And it took us 20 minutes to get this live stream to work. So my beloved Chris was here from, I don't know, quite a while before the hour, setting everything up, and at about 10 minutes to, he said, I don't know how it's going to work. I'm trying to fix it. So we still are getting this message here saying that the video resolution is not optimal. And I love that they say optimal because it's one of my favorite words. So if you've been around me, you know I love what's optimal at this time. So, all right, good. So put in the chat window, say hi, put in the chat window if you have any particular challenges that you'd like to dive into around Mercury retrograde. So after this, I have my Light Body School Infinity Light Weaving community call, and we're going to be doing healings. We use the tools that we have, and we come up with healings in the moment of what's optimal. So I've already gotten a few really fascinating emails from some of the people and saying, here's what's going on, here's what I want to put into the fire. We come together in circle and we share, and then we together, the energy draws together what's optimal, and we channel a healing. Today we're going to be doing individual healings, meanings like somebody says, okay, this is going on, and we're going to collectively channel using the tools that we have what's optimal. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen, because today is, we're still deep in Mercury retrograde, and we're going to talk a little bit about what it is, and yet we're going to also look at some of the challenges and some of the ways to reframe it. So if you get my emails, nanakasha.com, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and click like a bell or something that says notifications, you'll get a notice when I do go live. And I've been feeling more and more I want to go on. I just want to jump on live. And then I feel, oh, people will be upset because they didn't give them notice. But it takes 5-6 hours for us to get an email out to the whole list. So we'll see. If you do the notifications, then you'll get some kind of notification. I think I get an email. So reframe. If you get my emails, you read some of the words that I put down there for you to think about. So the first thing we're going to do is, what the hell is Mercury retrograde? Okay, without getting really technical and going too long into explanation, Mercury is a planet. Mercury is a god, or an entity, an energy, and it's the messenger energy. And so, you know that, is it the florist or somebody that has the logo is the Greek god Mercury with the little wings on his feet, on his ankles, sometimes on his little cap up here. So Mercury is an energy that has been embodied a lot of different times on the planet by different people. And it is an energy that's similar. So the planet embodies that energy too. So what does that mean? Well, usually if you're familiar with Mercury retrograde, people talk about communication challenges or technical challenges like we had getting this started today. So they do tend to be a little more common during the Mercury retrograde period. However, back in the day when I first heard about Mercury retrograde, and I had this amazing spiritual friend, and we would get together every Sunday all day long, and we would just do all kinds of amazing energy work and readings and healings and toning, and just, you name it, we explored everything. It was amazing. So we went through a period where we said, let's reprogram retrograde. Let's reprogram what we are framing, what we believe about the idea of Mercury retrograde. So why is this an awesome idea? A couple of reasons. It's an awesome idea because if you realize that you can reprogram your mind around this topic, that means you're going to start to realize you can reprogram your mind around any topic. And that's how you change your reality. That's how you manifest what you want. That's how you discover who you are. That's how you let go of pain and fear and attachments to other people and obligations and things that don't serve you anymore. And that's what we're all being called to now. That's what the metamorphosis and accelerated evolution of this moment is. So take advantage of it. So Mercury being the messenger, communication, you think of all forms of communication. So we might think about this call or a phone call, or yesterday was really epic. Oh my gosh. So most people probably know Facebook was down almost all day, and there's all kinds of theories and conspiracy theories and all kinds of other things going on around as to why. However, they own WhatsApp. So if you're familiar with that, that's used here where I live in Mexico more than text messages, and it's free, and it's for people worldwide. And there's other services similar. Telegram, I think, is one, and a few others. And so WhatsApp was down when I couldn't communicate with my contractors. I couldn't communicate with everybody here. And I started sending text messages, most of which people did not respond to because they don't communicate that way here. I don't know why. So yes, it means that kind of communication, but also means inner communication, communication with your guides, with your body, with your stomach ache, communication with your nature spirits of the moon, and that we're in a new moon period now. So it's like, ooh, wow, the stars are stunning at night, just stunning. They seem 10 times brighter to me, and so. All of these different aspects of communication are important to think about. So the most important communication is your inner communication, your communication with yourself. Do you judge yourself? Do you blame yourself? Do you never feel like you're enough? I lived that way most of my life. Do you feel like frustrated? Do you feel disappointed? Do you feel guilt? Do you feel shame? Do you feel craving? Do you feel like trapped? These are all things I've felt and my clients and students feel. And you might be like soaring, having the most awesome life, but there's still going to be parts, because as you evolve and open up to higher and more enlightened levels, you're going to run into anything that's still a lower level. So it's good that you're noticing it. So all forms of communication, then of course, talking with other people, thinking about your job or your work or your purpose, clients and employees and bosses and and people at the grocery store and all kinds of stuff. Yesterday there was a communication glitch, and it's not the end of the world, but I asked my contractor to change something. A step was going down was too deep. We're trying to make it very easy, and so he thought I meant too deep this way. So he actually spent they spent the part of their day filling in this whole stairway, and it's kind of big, with concrete to bring it out, which I didn't want. It's not the end of the world that they did it, but I had no idea in my mind that that's what they would think. And I wasn't here all day. So that was really unusual, because they've been here for 2-3 months. We're talking all the time. And then you have communication glitches like yesterday. WhatsApp was down, Facebook was down. Then my phone wouldn't do texts and wouldn't do phone calls until I went in and turned off all these different settings. And then it wouldn't send an email. I literally sent my mother an email probably 8 times over 12 hours, and it didn't work until, I don't know, maybe 10 o'clock the next day. This is the kind of stuff you might experience, all right? So you could be frustrated about it, or you could reframe it and decide, okay, it is what it is. Acceptance is a much easier way to live. Just accept what is. Oh, wow, this is, frustration is coming up. Okay, well, what is it telling me? So the words are retrograde, so reframe, review, remember, release, reform, reorganize, all of these ideas. So this friend of mine and I, that's what we did. We wrote down every word we could find, and we began to reprogram ourselves through thinking about it, talking about it, toning, meditating on it, different ways of embedding that new energy, that new framework, that new perception and level of consciousness that we were going to look from. So I don't get upset about Mercury retrograde. I do laugh when it classically does stuff like today or yesterday. But it was insane. It was like every aspect of my phone. My phone would freeze up if I attached a photo to something. And when I'm out for the day, which doesn't happen often, I'm out for a long day, and I work off my phone a lot. So I'm talking to Donna, and I'm talking to my contractors, and I'm, chatting with my kids, and I'm like, all these different things are happening at the same time. So I was interrupted rerouted. There's another word, rerouted. Rerouted and continuously just, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. So you can get frustrated, or you can say, oh, this is interesting. Well, why would that be? So take the rewords and look at what you're being invited to do. Retrograde, Mercury, the planet, is not actually going backwards. It looks that way to us because it has a different cycle than we do. So the energy, though, affects us in that way. So what do you think about? Well, Mercury, the messenger, is inviting you to review. Instead of plowing forward, doesn't mean you don't move forward during Mercury retrograde, but certainly you want to clarify the communication, give more time for decisions, review a contract or an agreement of some kind, re-look at, rethink, just keep thinking about those, whatever it is, especially if it's a communication or an agreement between you and someone else. It's a very good time to make sure that the wonky energies, that we would call them, they're not wonky. What they're doing is saying, okay, this is not your direction. Go review what you've done. Go look again at where you are. So use your rewords. I shared in one of my emails that a week and a half ago when Mercury retrograde started, I didn't know it was starting. It started at night. I was so tired. I was like drifting into a dreamy sleep, and bam, it was the strangest experience. This energy, it was very intense energy. It was emotional energy. It came up through me and just started like I had, 10 cups of coffee or something. I didn't sleep all night. Maybe a little. And the next day I just watched how my mind and this energy was poking my mind to think about things, worry about things. So it took some of my old deep fears that I used to live by, but I don't on a daily basis, but clearly there's a little bit of that energy still there. It brought it up from the basement and shoved it up into my face, just said, deal with this right now. So instead of being upset by any of these inconveniences or frustrations or your agenda, struggle and suffering, stress only come when we have an agenda that doesn't match with the way that the environment, the world, the spiritual path is unfolding. And then we're not going with the flow. We're saying, oh, and I want it this way. I want it this way. I have to have it this way. It has to be like this. When this happens, then I'll be in all that stuff, right? So we're becoming very aware we have all that stuff in us. Everybody does. It's nothing to get upset about. Accept it. So retrograde, the messenger, is saying there's some messages maybe you missed. Maybe you forgot. I can tell you, I have a lot of notebooks, and I take copious notes when I do sessions with clients. It's one of the things that I learned was to listen and to write and to draw what I see. And it's a way of me receiving the communication I'm getting as I'm working with a client and I'm seeing and hearing and receiving things, and we're going places and doing things. When I bring it in through my brain, I anchor it and I write. Sometimes I can't read my writing. But I do it also so that I can confer with the client afterwards, and the next time I can remember if there was anything specific that we wanted to remember and work on again. So in the journals, what happens is I can clarify what is this and what is that. So what happened to me the first night was it was old thoughts about I'm going to lose something bad's going to happen, something's going to be taken from me. I blew it, I did something wrong. You can't have things go this well. Kind of the who do you think you are to think that everything's so great and everything's unfolding this way. Almost everybody has some form of that voice within them. And so I, at first, was just so shocked that I was in it. And then I just became the observer, and I sort of let it float above me. And it just was so embedded in my mental body that I couldn't stop my mind. So I just decided to watch it. Because normally I would breathe and I would meditate, or I'd put something on, or I'd go smudge, or I'd do some of my tools. do some light body cleansing, violet cleanse, that's a good one. And then I would go to sleep. However, it wasn't going away. And so at some point I accepted, okay, it's not going away. At this point, I did not know that Mercury retrograde had started. I don't really obsessively follow that stuff. However, I do notice the energies that are going on around us, whatever they are, they definitely affect you. And so I became the observer, and I just watched, and I kept thinking, isn't this interesting? It's like a stuck record. It just kept going around and kept bringing it up again and bringing it up again. And much of my life, it got my attention. It got my energy. It dragged me down. It stopped me from being present or calm or doing what it was that I wanted to do. And so this week, these other weird things, the actual literal communication challenges, the communication challenge with my contractor, but I had a whole day after that day where I had to be in the energy. So I can't encourage you more than to say it's 1222 right now. I love it, 222. And then to accept, get the scale from the shop. It's free, and there's a couple other new declarations there that are free. So make sure that you go ahead and, I know it's not working. Go to shop.nanakasha.com and there'll be a link below. And get that. There's several tools. There's a scale, there's a raise of consciousness, and there's these 2 declarations that are there to help you have the right words to communicate clearly. So sitting in the energy, sitting in the emotion, accepting the emotion was key. It was such heavy stuff. It took me by surprise because I don't live in fear and worry and all that stuff right now. And when something does come up, I go, oh, look at you. Hi, come on over. I don't go, oh, no, I thought I was free and enlightened. You know, it's just, you don't want to keep getting sucked back down. So review. Review is the big one, especially right now. We're going into a really sacred energy time where the veil gets thinner. What does that mean? It's easier to communicate, to see other energies, other life forms, other dimensions, other places, other parts of you. You can communicate to all of them. You are intuitively wired, and that's what's coming to the forefront now. So if you decide to sit down and talk to Mercury, the energy, the God, the planet, that energy that holds the messenger energy, and say, okay, rather than be frustrated that communications might be slowed down, or this emotion that's coming up, be annoyed by it, because it just drags me down, I'm going to accept it. And then I'm going to sit in it and watch it. You don't become it. You don't hold it and talk about it and think about it and beat yourself up over it. You just watch it. So it took an entire day for this heavy energy to just be with me. And I was just like this. And I just said, okay, so today we're just doing things that are very sitting and pondering and very slow walks and things that match the rhythm of what's coming up. Well, partway through the day, I discovered it was Mercury retrograde, and the article that I read said, are you worrying about something that you're going to do wrong or lose or something? It was so perfect for what I had been thinking the night before, and I'm like, uh-huh. And so I was like, oh, it's Mercury. So it took me even deeper into going, thank you for bringing me this message. This energy is what I need to look at. If I want to expand into a more optimal life, if I want a healthier, happier body, a beautiful, loving relationship, if I want money to flow easily, if I want to know what I'm meant to do, if I want harmonious relationships, whatever that is, it's vital that you recognize who you are and let it unfold. So reviewing is what you do before the final phase. And we are moving into the next year, 222s, is going to be the year of unity, becoming unified with yourself. So this is Mercury saying, hey, let's sit down and reform, reorganize, rethink. Let's remember, let's release, let's rediscover. Let's look at things. So I spent the entire day looking at my finances and books and balances and things for the accountant and stuff that, you know, is normally just like, but I was like, okay, well, this is a great way. And I was so grateful because then within a day or so, I was feeling more confident about all that. I like reviewed it and I became aware, okay, this was a good time to review, know where everything is, what's happening, what da. Now I can think clearly. All right, so there's a gift inside of Mercury's invitation to review. Now the slow down is more that take time to review instead of like next action step, right? So maybe before a test or before a presentation, you might sit down and review your notes, review the topic, mentally rehearse it, create a vision of what you want. So I recommend that you talk to Mercury. You start to relate to Mercury as an energy. You can just open your intuitive self, align with what is optimal for you at this time. Go get the declaration so you can set sacred space and you can activate and cleanse and protect yourself so that you're aligned with what's optimal for you at this time, not what anybody else thinks that you should have. And then allow yourself to sit down. You can even lay down and meditate and see yourself sitting down, maybe having coffee or at a desk or going for a walk in the forest. And what does Mercury look like? Is it a planet? Is it a glowing light? Is it a sexy god? Is it a beautiful energy that lifts you up and has wings? What is it? Whatever way you perceive it is the communication that you're allowing right now. So if you recognize, oh, there's this powerful energy and it's asking me, come here, okay? It doesn't mean that you don't take action and you just lay in bed for 3 weeks or something, right? It means that you take the steps more consciously, more intentionally, in a more focused way. Okay, so Mercury retrograde emergency help. First, we talked about acceptance. Well, we talked about acceptance. We talked about reprogramming, reframing what you believe about Mercury retrograde. If you're frustrated with it, angry with it, if you fear it coming up, if it makes you feel restricted or heavy in any way, this is not a happy, harmonious relationship. So, like with any relationship, you want to shift and say, I'm going to reframe this. What if this energy is a guide for me and it knows my soul purpose and it knows me and it can communicate with my higher self and those parts of me that are more aware and not stuck in the emotional energy? And what if it was calling to me, hey, I have some time for you now, let's sit down. It may be a time to I spent last night, I was very tired, but I couldn't get up. I just sat there. Chris had gone to bed and we'd had a long, long day, but so much was accomplished and all that crazy, wacky communication issue didn't even faze me. I wasn't even thinking about it at that point. I was feeling myself and feeling my body like, who am I, right? Who am I? And I started to very easily, there was very little resistance. There was very little tension. There was very little of any restriction to the easy flow, spontaneous flow and images and feelings and whatever of me doing different things. What's next? Well, what would I love to do? And that's what kept coming. Mercury kept saying, what would you love to do? And I was like, what would I really love to do? Well, I love what I do. No, but like, what would you love to do? What I'd love to do. Well, right now, because probably of Mercury retrograde, and there's a lot of other planets in retrograde too. So if they're all have different energies, they're not all the messenger, right? They all have different energies and they're all in that phase where they're sort of turned within or taking a pause or reviewing before they move forward. These all could be working for you, with you, around you, and getting your attention. So being in the energy, accepting in the energy, seeing what it is, assuming that it has an optimal message for you, and especially with Mercury, this message: reframe, reorganize, retrain, renew, release, remember, refresh, reboot, all those fabulous. There's just a ton of them. Have fun with playing with that. Spontaneously play with that idea. And so let's look at, I did promise. Okay. So I was talking with Mercury, the energy beforehand, and saying, we're going to do this call and a clear and open channel for what is optimal for everyone to know and to hear at this time. What is the message that you want each of us to hear, to refocus, to review, to take a pause and recharge? Thank you. That's a very nice one. So I ask now to be a clear and open channel to Mercury and the optimal energies for me and all those concerned at this time. We enter this sacred space in reverence, presence, and love, and we ask that, aligned with our highest good and that which is optimal for us at this time, say to yourself, I am a clear and open channel, and I'm ready and willing and open and receptive to receive clear guidance, understanding, and information in whatever way and form is optimal for me. From Mercury, the messenger, I'm ready to review, and I accept, acknowledge, and give great thanks for this loving communication. So relax and just listen. Close your eyes and be in the center of your beingness and perceive like you're watching. You don't know what's going to show up or where. You're scanning. Use all your senses, and even the ones you're not aware of, and allow them to begin to align to be a clear and open channel. So as you receive each of you yourself, I am going to begin to receive, and I will talk and share whatever I get as it comes through. So be in that receptive, ready, open, willing state. I am being shown a man. It's almost a cartoonish man, very big, strong, buff, with the big chin and the big head, everything kind of exaggerated the way that a drawing or a cartoon would be. And he's looking in a mirror, and he's looking at himself, and he's looking at his face from different angles, and he's licking his teeth and looking at his teeth, and changing the angle of his face and his expression, and just examining himself in the mirror from every angle. Reflect. I want for you to reflect. This is a moment that will be gone soon. And this is a world that will be gone soon. And the new world, the new reality, depends on you understanding reflection. You are a reflection of the divine, of infinite, and you create a reflection, and you have a reflection, and you are capable of reflection. When you reflect, it's a quiet, peaceful, inner state. I don't want you to review. I want you to reflect. Review, you use your mind. You try to think and analyze and write and create charts. You try to force a plan. When you reflect, you become serene and centered. When you reflect, you are focused and present. You're looking within. You're no longer looking without. You're no longer seeking around you. You're no longer having that anxiousness, that emptiness that shrivels you and sucks the life from you. That's like, I must have. You calmly sink into the present moment and you reflect on the past, on experiences, thoughts, emotions, relationships, places. This is remembering. And what is remembering? It is not, oh yes, I remember. We said we'd meet at 3 o'clock. Remember means you return and accept a part of you, a member of you, and you bring it back and make it a part of you again. When you reflect, the remembering opens and becomes a flow. And then the energy can release and it can move apart and become resources. And those resources regain and reclaim the power to create, refresh, reboot. The power to create anew, not from the past, not from the past feelings and fears, not from the past emotions and heart, not from the past. Now, it is time to reclaim and regain this connection. When you reconnect through this reflection, it is not through the old channels. It is from a place of accepting, allowing, receiving, pondering. There is no attachment, there is no judgment, there is no way to hold on. You are in the flow, watching everything coming to you and letting it move on by, move through, maybe trigger a memory. Remember, retake that back, reclaim the energies that are powerful, that will refresh and rejuvenate you, and allow that. Allow it, because you're the one that refuses. You refuse and you reflect by pushing it back, not by going within and receiving. Reflection is about stepping into the flow and simply being, allowing all of you to look at the infinite potential and resources and the bad and the good in the past and the present and everything you never thought and ever thought. Every part of you can come through and you begin to feel an ease and you can release the old. Those need to be removed. Those old beliefs and thoughts. And when you reflect without the judgment and the guilt, when you reflect in reverence, when you reflect and you allow and you receive, what are you doing? You're remembering you already have it, so you're receiving it. You're not receiving it the first time, you're remembering to receive. Reflection is receiving, and it is an action. Don't reflect, refract the support that is around you. I am the messenger, and I appear to circle back around, but I am coming into a different alignment with you, and I reconnect to recalibrate you. And it feels like The new isn't happening. No, this is the time to renew. So when you reflect and allow me in retrograde to be the messenger guide in a different way, that when we're powering forward and I'm leaping and bounding and flying ahead of you and around you and opening doors and freeing you and showing you pathways and guiding you every minute, now is the time where you listen within, receive the nourishment, remember you have everything that you need. Reflection is my message for you. If you cannot get a message through, perhaps it's time to reflect, to sit in the moment, reflect on the last time you sat in the moment, to reflect on the message you're trying to send. Is it the right time? Release it into the flow. Take this opportunity as we are going to prepare, because by the end of this moment in this October, the energies are going to amplify and you are going to see an ability beyond anything you've experienced or imagined. Whatever was your best, most expansive experience is going to be refitted, going to be upgraded, going to be renovated. So now you can prepare, and I'm here to help you. As you move through this time, there will be more messengers for you than you have ever experienced before. And as November moves into the eclipses and the solstice and the coming of 2022, unity is the energy that you're entering. And first, you must unify with yourself. Unite. So it's time to reunite, to come to this reunion, reflect, remember, and always receive. I came to you as this very powerful masculine image exaggerated by ego, by looking at the reflection and constantly reassessing and re-looking, is this good enough? Oh, I'm good enough. Oh, I'm good enough. Oh, I'm good enough. Instead of that kind of reflection, look at the true you. You don't need to compare. You can admire your beauty, and I recommend it. You can enjoy who you are. You can enjoy a moment at a hairstyle. You can enjoy a color or a clothing. You can enjoy being dressed up for a special occasion. And look deeper. I want you to reflect on the deepest part of you, because this is the part that is joining, rejoining your path in a more conscious way. So I want you to pull off the masks of who you thought you needed to be and never look again at your reflection with comparison or judgment. Look at it with delight, with welcome. It's so awesome I get to be in this body. I hope I get more time here. I have so many exciting things I can do. I'm so happy that I'm here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Reflect and look into your mirror. Look when you're sad. Look when you're angry. Look when you're tired. Look when you're excited. Get to know your reflection, and you will get to know who you are being and why you are not creating what you desire. Then, as you reflect within and you see the reflection you are creating without, your ability to flow, create, manifest, become is going to unite. Look into your eyes, look into the mirror. Send yourself gratitude, love, acceptance. Send yourself reverence, appreciation. Send yourself peace and joy. And ask that you reflect that divine love into the world, into your reality, into your body, into your mind, into your relationships, into your bank, into every part of your creation. Reflect on what we have communicated today and feel my loving gratitude as I send you a message with wings, message to carry you up. Thank you, thank you. I can't stop smiling. Are you going to stay around a little? Okay. Wow, what a wonderful experience. What a beautiful opportunity. I'm going to have to re-listen to that because I don't know exactly what was said. But I heard a lot of things and I loved the redirection, into reflect instead of review. So that appeared to be the message and so many layers of it, right? All right. So I have just a couple minutes before I gotta go. So let's see. Hi, Sandra and P. Kelly and Gareen and Anne and Midnight. Challenges with communication and personal relationships. Yeah. So what you would do with that, based on the energies I'm feeling and what I saw, was reflect on that. How are you communicating? Who are you being? What are your expectations? Or just reflect on the energy between you and another person. Or I don't know, I wasn't taught to say, be aware of who you're being, the energy you're putting out, because it's what creates the energy that comes back, the people around you and how they react. There's some energy message for you around freeing yourself, freedom and freeing yourself. Freeing yourself from those relationships. I feel like I've been standing on a line good-heartedly my whole life, and I'm so weary of being in waiting. Wow, that's so powerful. I love that. That's such a fantastic. I don't love that you feel like you're trapped there, but it's really common, especially right now, because we've expanded and the breakdown has happened and we're connecting so much that we can't stay small anymore, right? We can't, it doesn't feel comfortable. So waiting, reflect on the idea of waiting. Why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? Who told you to wait? When did you make an agreement to wait? Ask for communication about waiting or the next steps. Because sometimes, wait, go do something else, travel, do this, do that, whatever. But when you feel like your whole life, I'm here, I'm waiting, I'm here, I'm waiting. I know that I was like the happy person that turned every negative, hard energy into something happy, like the Joker and the Jester. And so that's an excellent thing to reflect on. It's nice you've been doing it good-heartedly, but I also see that you have some deep frustrations. There's some hooks that you bury to stay good-hearted about it. And there's a part of you that needs to reflect on the anger that's down there, to allow yourself to say, I'm a little freaking tired of this shit. And you don't want to live there, but you have to let that steam off And you can do it by being playful or fun, by acting something out like, oh, this is not good for me. I can't, like just make it something exaggerated. Give yourself the space. Don't dump it on anybody else. But that's really excellent because guess what? You're in the right place. The waiting is over. Yay! And you guys, I forgot to mention the intuitive manifesting. One day retreat is coming up October 16th. So if you go to shop.nanakasha.com, you'll see it there on sale. You get all of the steps to keep forever. We're going to walk through it and manifest something. So if you do feel like you've trapped or you've been waiting, or one of my clients says, I feel like I've been 30 years on my spiritual path and, 20 years before that and living and just feel like, oh, that's where so many people are. Do you know what that means? That means you're ready for the cocoon to open, but the butterfly has to fight its way out of the cocoon. It cannot wait for the curtains to open. It has to start saying, okay, it's too small in here, I'm done, and move. So reflect on what that might be, how that could happen, and what it would feel like, okay? I love it. Challenges, okay, we did that. Major challenges with internal communication with my body and being in tune with what is optimal for me, feeling out of whack physically. So there's a lot of ascension sickness. I see that it's called now, light body sickness, I used to call it. And you do get all kinds of interesting energies, and you might have diseases or imbalances that you are dealing with in your body. However, these communication, reflect on how do you feel about this. Are you frustrated and angry with it? Well, then that communication is filled with that. It's blocked by that. If you feel frustrated, you can say, oh, I'm tired of waiting, but I'm ready to accept the next step. Then you're not down in blame and anger and all those lower energies on the scale. Oh, thank you for being the messenger today. P. Kelly said, Keely, thank you. Hi, Josie. You just saw it. What'd you see? Oh my gosh. Freedom. Interesting. Yes, perhaps freeing self from old ways of interacting, being open to a new type of connection with those people. Yes, absolutely. Because your freedom is in what you decide things mean and where you spend your time. How much time you spend on being frustrated or happy, feeling stuck or feeling free, all that stuff. And it isn't about getting upset about where you are. It's going, oh, okay, here I am. Let's change this. Let's change this. So freeing yourself is, you can't change other people. So you change and they won't like it. But if you hold it and you do it in the most loving, conscious way, not to stay there to fix them, but if it's leave or if it's change how you communicate, I send different heart weaves and energy to my kids and to my parents and to people I want harmonious relationships with. And I just ask over and over for a harmonious relationship, because that means it's respecting both sides of it, right? Thank you for those messages. Oh, you're welcome, Sandra. Thank you so. You're welcome. Hi, Josie. Oh my God, I had a vision the other day, and Spirit said you have to fight through it like it was birthing something. That's exactly it, sweetie. That's exactly it, Josie. It is exactly where we are. Metamorphosis, literally. Okay. I studied the phases of a butterfly and a caterpillar for a reason, because it's too good of a metaphor. And if they tried cutting open or helping the butterfly in any way, the butterfly died. Once it got out of the cocoon, if you cut it open and it just came out easily, and then it wasn't strong enough, it couldn't fly, it never lived. And they are strong. They are so strong. Oh my gosh. So that inner desire says it's time for something new, and it's time for me to do that. And it doesn't mean fight. It means, oh yeah, I could think that. I could be free. What would that be like? Instead of being like, oh, I'm stuck. What would it be like? And whatever other messages are there for you. So moving is motion and communion and communication too. Definitely. Orania. What a beautiful name you have. This live stream is what I just saw. Oh, good. I'm late, but I didn't totally miss it. Oh, very much. Powerful. Much gratitude. Thank you, sweetie. All right, thank you, everybody. It will be available for you to listen to if you just came in as soon as I hang up. So let's go ahead and give great thanks for this beautiful gathering, to Mercury and to the energies of this moment, and to this new awareness and opportunity, to these energies and ways to reframe, reconnect, regain, reclaim, release, remember, renew, refresh, recalibrate, and reconnect to our truth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May this circle be open yet unbroken. And this beautiful connection to our messenger go with you throughout your day. All right, thanks everybody. Got to run to my Light Body School, and I hope I see you at the Intuitive Manifesting. It's going to be awesome. It's at shop.nanakasha.com, and you can always send us anything you have questions about, okay? Thanks, everybody. Lots of love. Share this so people who really need help can get